Howdy from down on the farm. My name is Cian Cosell with Farmhouse Teas, and today we are going to make some herbal apple cider vinegar gummies. So many of us know about the health benefits of raw apple cider vinegar, but we also know that it isn't like the most fabulous tasting thing in existence. So today we are going to combine the power of raw apple cider vinegar along with some grass-fed beef gelatin and some organic herbal tea to make some fantastic gummies that even your children are going to love. First, we need to start by making our herbal tea infusion. Now, you can use any herbal tea that you want. The herbal tea is going to give the gummies the flavor that we're looking for. It's also going to give it the color that we're looking for. And we also have the wonderful medicinal properties in an herbal tea depending on which tea you choose. So today I'm using our high desert hibiscus tea. As you probably guessed, it has a lot of hibiscus in it. And there's also some elderberry, some lemongrass, and it's got kind of a tropical fruity twist. I think that this is probably just the flavor for the farm children. Alrighty, so we're going to take our 4 tablespoons of herbal loose leaf tea. That's about 1 ounce depending on the kind of tea you're using. And we're going to add it to our 2 cups of water I have here. So go ahead and give that a stir here so that the tea is nice and wet in the water and it will infuse more evenly this way. Now that we have our herbal tea in with our 2 cups of water, we're going to go ahead and turn that on a medium high on the burner. And we're going to let it come to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, we're going to simmer it until the liquid is reduced in half. This is going to give us what is called an herbal decoction in the tea world. And it's going to be very similar to making a syrup with berries. So just watch it. It might take 15-20 minutes, but it's going to be different everywhere and different for each tea that you use, as some teas will take a little bit more water than other teas. So make sure that it only goes half and that you end up with about 1 cup of your reduced herbal tea. All right, I'm going to let this simmer and then I will return and we will continue on from there. All right, we have a rolling boil, so now I'm just going to turn this down until it starts to simmer. And you can see right now, I'm trying to show you where the line is. This seems very hot, so I'm going to be careful, but you see where the line is, so I'm going to need that reduced to half in order to make these gummies. So it's going to be 1 cup of liquid. If you get it reduced and you find you ended up with 3/4 of a cup or just, short of 1 cup, you can go ahead and add more water to equal the amount that you need. It's not going to harm it at all. It just means that it's more condensed than you need it, and we need to make sure we have 1 cup of liquid. You can see the herbal tea line right there, and then the actual liquid tea down there, and that's about halfway. We're going to measure it and find out exactly, but it looks like it's ready. Alrighty, so it looks like we've simmered down to about halfway. So now I'm going to strain that tea using a mesh strainer into a glass measuring cup because I need to know if we have enough liquid to continue on with the recipe. So I'm just going to scrape this out with my little spoon here and make sure I get most of that out. Then you just want to go ahead and press down on the herbs and make sure you get all of that goodness out of there. We don't want to waste any. Now the leftovers you can compost, or if the herbs are safe, you can give them to your chickens and turn this tea into eggs. Alrighty. Now we've got our tea in our bowl. Let's see how we did. It looks like we're just slightly over 1 cup, but that is pretty darn close, so we're gonna go with it. Alrighty, now that we have our 1 cup of very strong herbal infused tea, we're going to let it cool down to room temperature so that we can add our raw apple cider vinegar. Now the reason we want it to cool down is because if we let it stay too hot, then it's going to kill all of the beneficial yeast and bacteria that are in the raw apple cider vinegar. So we're going to let it cool off, and I will be back when it is ready to go. Alrighty, our tea has cooled to room temperature. I can put my finger in it without getting burnt, and it's still a little bit warm, but not too cold. So now I'm going to whisk in my apple cider vinegar, my grass-fed beef gelatin, and my honey. All right, I've got my raw honey in here, and I'm just, you can see it there. I'm gonna whisk it until it dissolves. You wanna make sure that your tea didn't get too cold for this, because you want it just warm enough that it's going to dissolve. But you also don't want it too hot that it's going to kill the good properties of your raw honey. Alrighty, it's almost dissolved. We'll check, there's a little bit more at the bottom. Okay. If you don't want to use raw honey, you can use maple syrup in here. Now we're going to add our 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar. Again, you want to make sure this is raw and that when you buy it, it has some mother in it. And we're going to give that a little whisk. And then last but not least, we're going to add our grass-fed beef gelatin. And this is what's going to make it nice and thick and turn it into gummies. So whisk that in there. Alrighty, now we have our beef gelatin, our honey, and our raw apple cider vinegar in here. We're just going to put this back on the stove and heat it up for just a little bit to get that gelatin nice and dissolved. Alright, we have the gelatin in the pot warming up just a little bit. You can see the steam. We don't want to do it too much. You don't want it above 120 degrees and for no more than 10 minutes. Otherwise you run the risk of killing all the beneficial items in the apple cider vinegar and raw honey. So it's looking like it's probably about ready. Alright, I've got it out of the pot and back in its container. I'm just going to give it a little whisk. You can do this in the pot, that's fine. And now it's time to put them in our gummy bear molds. Alrighty, so we have the gummy bear molds here. I got these on Amazon. They come in a 4-pack, 2 purple, 2 blue. You can get them in all different shapes and sizes. The important thing is that it's a silicone mold, and then they should just pop right out of here after they chill. So you can also just put them in a flat pan and cut them into squares. That is definitely much faster, but not nearly as much fun. So we're going to use a dropper to fill these. Some of these come with a big plastic dropper. I would highly recommend those. I can't find mine today, so I'm just using a regular glass dropper to fill these up, and we want to get it full before our gelatin starts to set. Alrighty, those are ready. We're gonna pop them into the refrigerator. They're gonna chill for a couple of hours, and then we will come back and pop them out of their silicone mold and take a look and see how they turned out. Alrighty, I'm back. As you can tell, it is a different day, and it has been more than 2 hours with those herbal gummy bears in the refrigerator. but they are more than ready to go. And so we are going to pop them out of their molds. Here they are in their molds. You can see they aren't just going to come out, so they're nice and solid. It's not dripping all over the place. So in order to get these out, we are just going to turn them upside down, and we are going to push the bear inside out, and the gummy should just pop out. There they go. So we're just going to do that one by one, and we will have our gummy bears ready to go. Alrighty, those are all out of the molds and they are ready to eat. A little bit tart, a little bit tropical, and the good news is you can make them any flavor that you want. If you'd like to print the recipe, the link is down below. And if you would love more herbal tips and tricks, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up so that others can enjoy it too. And until then, we will catch you next time. Okay. We can do this without breaking. Howdy from down on the farm.